Hey everyone, this is Sunny Justice with It's a Crime and Shame. So of course, before we get started into this video, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell for all the latest notifications whenever we do a video or do a live. Also, if you don't mind, please hit that like and that share. We truly appreciate it, and thank you for watching this video. In this video, we are going to talk about the fact that Carlee Russell parents speak out, and we'll talk about a few other things that simply don't make sense. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a very strange story, and there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered.
That moment you all first laid eyes on her again, what was it like?
To me, just so much joy.
This morning, in an exclusive sit-down with NBC News, the parents of 25-year-old Carlee Russell are speaking out, describing the moment their daughter appeared on their doorstep after being missing for more than 48 hours.
What did you do when you saw her?
We tried to hug her as best we could, but I had to stand back because she was not in a good state. So we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. But it's okay.
Last Thursday, police say Carlee called 911 to report a toddler walking alone on the interstate. She pulled over while on the phone with a family member who described hearing Carlee scream.
Her vehicle's unlocked, running. All her personal belongings except for her phone.
On the scene, police found no sign of Carlee or a child, and they say no children were reported as missing during that time period. The Russells waited in agony until Saturday night.
There were actually just so many calls and texts from people who maliciously lied to us. I just didn't know people could be so evil.
Authorities have not indicated where Carlee was during the 48 hours she was missing or what happened. Her parents declined to share what their daughter told them, citing the ongoing investigation.
And can you tell me what happened Saturday night? Did you just get a knock at the door?
Anything leading to the case itself, we can't discuss that.
But they say speculation about the circumstances surrounding Carlee's disappearance are only making things worse.
She's having to deal with the trauma of people just making completely false allegations about her.
Her family now urging the public to let the investigation play out, but mentioning an abductor. Her mother asking to read a brief message to the public.
Carlee has given detectives her statement so that they can continue to pursue her abductor.
Do you believe that there's an abductor still out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
NBC News has reached out to the Hoover Police Department to ask whether they're looking for an individual involved. Police have just said they're following up on all information provided by Carlee.
And when I talked to you all on Saturday, you also said your daughter is a fighter and she would find a way back to you.
I felt that in my heart.
Is that what happened?
She did. She found her way back to us. However, we can't discuss the details of that.
But they say one thing is clear.
Do you believe she was fighting for her life?
Oh, she definitely fought for her life. There were moments when she physically had to fight for her life, and there were moments when she had to mentally fight for her life.
But she made it back to you.
She made it back.
Yeah, she did make it back. All right, Priscilla, so investigators are obviously busy on this case. What are they looking into going forward?
Yeah, Hoda, right now they're analyzing that initial 911 call and also that traffic cam video showing a car driving on the interstate very slowly with its flashers on, believed to be Carlee's car. And of course, they're looking at the evidence from the crime scene, including the car and her cell phone, which was found on the roadway nearby. Police say that they have been able to account for all of her steps leading up to her disappearance, but those 48 hours when she was gone still remain a mystery. Hoda?
Yeah, leaving behind her phone, her pocketbook, and all those things, a lot of things that investigators are looking into. Priscilla, thank you.
Okay, so at the end of the day, I know that we all are glad that Carlee Russell is alive and that she is well. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that there isn't all these questions out there. And there are things that just don't make sense whatsoever regarding this case. Yes, of course, this will hopefully be answered for us in the short period of time, hopefully. Other than that, we're going to go over the video again and things that don't make sense and, again, break it down. Okay, so I grabbed this screenshot from Plunder's channel, which is Paula Neil Mooney, who you can follow her on Twitter as well. She dropped a video this morning, but one thing specifically I wanted to start off with when it comes to the red flags. But let's start here at this point where it says 459 South, mile marker 10, gonna be a child walking on the 3 or 4-year-old child walking on the side of the interstate next to it. Okay, so let's start with the red flags. Okay, so let's start off here. According to that, it said mile marker 10. Now that is way past where Carlee's car was, which is at marker 11.4. So let's go out of the street view. Okay, just to give you a just to give you the perception of exactly where that is. Okay, so if this is mile marker 10, right, which is after, okay, Carlee came back from this way, right here. This is where she leaves work, okay, and then she travels down the I-459 after getting some food. So again, mile marker 10 is quite a difference. So where did they get mile marker 10 from? Was it a misspeak and they should have said maybe mile marker 11? I mean, but that's quite a misspeak to say that. So, and you know that if she's at mile marker 10, there's no way that it was like, oh, okay, well, let's go down here, turn around, come all the way back. That just did not happen. But Carlee's vehicle was found here at marker 11.4. Again, you know, quite a bit of a distance. There's 0.20 miles between each marker, right? So if this is at 11.2 and even mile marker 11, like that's a good mile or so down the road. So I'm confused by that comment about mile marker 10. Was it a misspeak or where did that even come from?
459 south, mile marker 10. It's going to be a child walking on the 3 or 4 year old child walking on the side of the interstate next to her. RP's going to be close by in a red Mercedes sedan with the hazards on. Child's going to be a white male wearing a white t-shirt and a diaper.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so I want to give you the best perspective that I could think of to show you how much of a red flag to me this is, but for you guys to visually see it yourself. So when Carlee's car comes into the screen at that I-459 video footage, it comes in at marker 11.6, okay? Now, just to give you a grasp of how far it traveled, which is 0.02 miles, okay, just under a quarter of a mile there. So 11.4 is exactly where Carlee's car was found. Now, Carlee's vehicle came into the screen with her hazards already flashing. So that would mean that at some point before it shows it in the camera footage, and I don't know how often they have camera footage, and that in particular when that news coverage was released, you know, if they could have shown further back with her vehicle, but I think that they were just trying to show where her vehicle was and it coming into the screen. So who knows what else the police have seen or anything like that, okay? I don't know exactly where all these I-459 cameras are, or how often they're placed, but definitely on the camera of the I-459, things appear closer than what they truly are. And that's why I want to give you a visual properly. So again, she comes into screen here. That would mean that she saw the child allegedly at this point somewhere perhaps along here, okay? Because she comes into screen there. So let's just go down to marker 11.6. Okay, so we're at 11.6. I'll quickly give you a view this way here. So the child would have had to have been at some point over here because obviously she's coming into her hazards already by the time she reaches this, marker 11.6. So again, things are on the I-459 camera release footage are closer than what they seem. but here gives you a more perspective of the true distance between them. So, vehicle comes in to screen. This is that signage that has the McDonald's on it. So let's just click up there. Okay. There's the golden arches and the yellow thing. Okay, so she passes that. And she continues until she gets to mile marker, which is over here. Let's just... Come on. Giddy up, cursor. Alright. So, is this going to take me past it? No, there we go. 11.4. This is where Carlee's car came to a halt. Now let's take a look visually. McDonald's sign. The mile marker is up here. And this is where she comes into screen with her hazards on already. Again, saying then that the child must have been in this area. Do you feel that it would be normal that somebody drives past a 3 to 4 year old white topped, white nappy child that's 3 to 4 years old, pass them, visually see all that, and then take this long to be able to stop for this child? That's quite the distance, considering she came into the screen down here with her hazards on already. Okay, so that right there to me was just a big major red flag that someone that already has their hazards on, okay, which means she would have started slowing down already before hitting this mile marker, and it still took that long to come to a stop. Now, let's get into another red flag. So, she would have seen perhaps this child, as I said, in this area here. There's houses right here, and there was some things in the scanner call that we're talking about here. Let me just, pull up the roads there. That we're talking about, where is it? I think it's in this area here. There we go. Atkins Timmins Road, perhaps. You know, they were checking to see if any child was missing. You know, something about a screaming lady, but that probably that would have been her sister calling the police, because she was still on with her phone, meaning Carlee's phone, that was hearing highway noise, because they were pinging her phone. And then in the scanner conversation, the police scanner conversation, they're talking about pinging her phone, that they found her wig, her Apple Watch, her purse and whatever in the vehicle, but not her phone. And then they were pinging their phone, and I'm not exactly sure what area her phone was found in. Honestly, that's kind of confusing. But regardless, the sister was on the phone call with the highway noise of the phone. So, going back to this child that she would have had to have seen at some point in this area to obviously already have her hazards on, right? So it would be interesting to see the footage that's before this. Anyways, so if this was somebody using a child as a lure, what are the chances that this child is way down here and then she gets abducted way over here, considering we see the footage that shows Carlee getting out of the passenger or the driver's seat and then going behind the car to the passenger side. We don't see someone getting out there and then running down, going after this child. So they plant the child back here, and yet she was literally abducted within a minute or so or two here. And somebody that's going to use a child as a lure is going to put that 3 to 4 year old way down here. That doesn't make sense whatsoever. You know? So then people think, okay, well, did this child wander? You know? But how would that make sense either, right? Because, so what, all of a sudden in the same vicinity, there's no 911 call. Again, red flag, right? So Carlee is the only one that sees this child and reports this child to 911. The only person on this busy interstate that just happens to see this child and happens to be the only person that calls 911. Nobody else sees this child as they're driving past it, considering it took her forever to stop here. So nobody else sees this child whatsoever, reports it, stops, tries to help. I mean, are we in the land of freaking Oz, or what's going on here? Because a child that would just say travel and go, oh, you know what, I'm just a 3 or 4 year old child and I'm just going to make my way down through these homes, through the bushes, you know, onto the highway, do-de-do-de-do, and only one person makes a phone call. Nobody else sees this child. Okay, another red flag. At no point in the video do we see another car that is stopped there. And if anyone says that there is, then obviously they need to go get themselves some specs. Because you can tell by all the vehicles that are passing Carlee's car before and after it that there is no other vehicle in sight on the same marker 11.4 that she is. So all of these things literally do not add up. And where did marker 10 come from? Because that's way down there past a mile further. And there's no way that she looped around in this timeline that has been given. And another thing I want to add to that is that she put out a tweet at 9:19, but they also have that she was on the phone talking to her mother at 9:19. So was she driving and tweeting and talking to her mother at the same time? Okay, and again, this is just the beginning of it. So let's go back to the video and go over the video footage yet again. Okay, so let's get into the I-459 video footage that was released. Again, I'm sure that the officers have more footage back further when they see her vehicle, perhaps. Either way, it's coming into screen now. Again, mile marker 11.6 is when it started coming into the screen, and then it proceeds on down to the 11.4 marker, 0.20 miles away. And it takes that long to stop, considering she's already got those hazards on. Now, right here in just a moment, you're going to see the door open up with the yellow box around it. Right there. That's when the door begins to open up. Then you're going to see it open up a little bit more with a person making their way out of it. Now, they're going to go behind the vehicle, and you can see that by the lights in the back. So if you look at that right there, you're going to see that the person actually crossed behind the lights and then is on the passenger side of the vehicle. And the arrow will just keep pointing in the yellow box to show you as this video is playing out. Again, no attempt whatsoever. Again, looking at the headlights of the other vehicles, you know, you don't see someone running down to a child, and it's a pretty good distance. Now, this all happened in a very short period of time that she had called 911, you know, and within 5 minutes, not even, that the police were en route or right there. Okay, there again you see imagery of person. And obviously, like magic, that person or persons are gone. The video plays out. And then at some point here, it's going to be the cops will show up where her vehicle is. So that would be quite the fast abduction, considering you have to put it into perspective. The vehicle comes to a stop, the car door opens out, the driver goes over to the passenger behind the vehicle, over to the passenger side, is there, but this video is playing out from the actual footage from the I-459. So the child is still way down the road. So this abductor would have abducted her in what? Like a minute's time? Right? It took basically, and that's at the longest, it was 5 minutes. It was said that it was a little bit shorter, but let's just give the 5 minutes pretty much the length of the video of the I-459. So all this time we're staring at, right? Now she's been abducted. Let's actually look at that in just a second once this video ends. We're going to look at exactly how fast that Carlee would have seemed to have been abducted. The video is almost over. Again, we'll just wait till the cop lights come into the picture. And then we're just going to go back and look at that time exactly. Feel free to fast forward a little bit here if you're just bored of looking at this. We're almost there. Okay, there's the blue lights. Okay, let's go back and look at that time frame that I was just speaking about. Okay, you guys, when the video starts at the 23:54 marker, and you will see Carlee's vehicle right now come into the screen at the 11:6 marker. Again, the whole purpose of this part of the video is to go by what time she was, or how long it took before she was apparently abducted. And this video that they put out was like 4 minutes and 40 seconds, so you know that it took less than 5 minutes for the police to get there. It was probably more like 4 minutes, or perhaps 5 minutes if you went from actually when she called, which was prior this. You see her getting out of the vehicle, going behind her vehicle, and then over to the passenger side. Again, we're coming up to almost the 1 minute mark. I'll tell you in a second. Still a person that's at the passenger side. So right now we are at the 1 minute mark of this alleged abduction. Okay, so the person is still there on the right-hand side of the vehicle, where you see the dark figure. That's where said person should be. Basically at 1.5 minutes right now. And then it looks like there's still the person that's there. And this is to me where said person is going to be gone. If they are even still there, if this is just an illusion now. Okay, so we're basically underneath the 2-minute mark that this whole abduction would have occurred. Okay, so let's just say within 2 minutes that Carlee just, was on her phone with the police officers at 9:34. Then she hung up and she called her sister-in-law. Again, that's another red flag to me the whole time. No one has left that vehicle and went running down the emergency lane to retrieve this child. And somehow the abductor knew that she would be at mile marker 11.4. Or perhaps was it somebody that was aiding in this, perhaps hoax, and they were there waiting for Carlee and then left through the wooded area. Again, it's up to you guys to determine what you guys think. There are so many red flags to the point of her coming home on foot. So how did it happen that she received a phone call? Her parents received a phone call from the Red Roof Inn, and then Carlee shows up on foot at home. There's way too many things that don't make sense. The fact that there's not been anyone issued, that they are looking for this said abductor out there in the media, none of it makes sense. But it's up to you to draw your own conclusion. And again, knowing that hopefully at some point here that we'll actually hear the truth of what went on. At the end of the day, your parents aren't going to believe that you're lying. They're going to think that you're telling the truth, But again, we'll see how this all plays out. I'm going to leave this video at this for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please give this video a like and a share. I'm going to leave you off with a few pictures that you can look at and try to decipher for yourself what you think about them as well. Okay, so in this image here, you guys, it's circled where that there is a person that's standing on the right hand side of the vehicle. Same thing with this one, within the circle, the dark patch that you see. Again, same with this one. And the next ones are more interesting. Do you see two people? Because in this picture I see two people, but not like somebody's getting abducted. But it looks like I see two figures there. Definitely somebody that's in the black to the left. And she was said to be wearing her black scrubs. So again, I'm just going to leave you off with a couple of these pictures. Stay tuned for my next video where I'll be showing more things as well. Anyways, you guys take care. And again, please like and share this video. Thanks for watching it as well.